Hello, everybody. My name is Jim Farmer. I am the festival director of Out on Film, Atlanta's LGBTQ Film Festival. This is our 37th year, and we have some amazing programming this year. As always, we have a an amazing number of short films from around the world. The International Shorts Program is one of all of our favorites, and we have six excellent films that comprise our international shorts. It's actually playing this Friday at Adult Film, and then we'll be streaming for a week. And we're so excited to share that. I'm going to go around the Zoom room and let our participants introduce themselves. Adrian?
Yeah, so my name is Adrian Gardner. I'm the director of Man Code. Yeah, glad to have the film part of the festival.
Can you tell us a little bit about your film?
Yeah, sure. So Man Code is about two black guys in Birmingham who hook up, and then things tumble into something quite chaotic from there. So yeah, it's a comedy drama, and yeah, so it's sweet, it's got heart, and you kind of see what it's like for two queer men to discover themselves and each other.
Great. Let's find out more about If.
Hi, Jim.
Yeah, good to see you
Pleasure to be
again.
here.
Good to see you again.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you. Thank you so much for having our film at this year's festival.
Our pleasure.
Well, If is actually a story about two women in love, two women from different religion in India, and but societal norms, inherent patriarchy, conservatism separates them from one another, and how they navigate their life afterwards, whether they meet or not, and if they get help from someone in their family is what the film basically is about. So.
Okay, great. So, same order. Can you tell us a little bit about where you are right now in your festival run?
So Man Code is showing at Denard in France today.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's been doing really, really well. Um, in terms of the festivals that we've been accepted at. Bolton is also happening as well. Um, yeah, so it's going around the UK and internationally at the moment.
And If.
Well, yeah, I mean, IF is also having its festival run as we speak. We have screenings, actually, quite a few screenings this weekend.
Hmm.
Out on Film is, of course, one of them. And it really means a lot because, I mean, this film is very special. And to bring her out on film again after my last film, Miss Man, is very, very special. And apart from out on film, there are screenings happening in the US in Cincinnati. In India, there is a screening as well, and there have been quite a few screenings before, starting from our world premiere in March
Hmm.
at Five Flare. So it has been really amazing and very special, and the response has been great. And looking forward to how the audience reacts at Out on Film as well. So pretty excited.
That's great. As directors, can you talk to me about how you are able, and both of you do it really, really well in your films. Can you talk to me about how you are able to have a film full of fully developed characters in a fairly compressed amount of time? How have you been able to maneuver that? Same order.
Um, yeah, so I feel like I was really lucky to be able to direct read through of the script beforehand,
Yeah.
which is when it got picked up by the production company Hatch Films. Um, but in terms of how we made sure those characters were rich and developed, we played a lot with improv and played with like fleshing out what was happening for these characters before they came into the scene and also afterwards, what could have happened but after for them, which allowed them to feel like they were on a journey as a human being rather than like just showing, oh, we're just showing some like drama that happens in a moment. It's not just about that. It's about going, this moment is activated by like all that's come before them and will activate all that comes after them. Which I think makes it a powerful space for it to feel like, oh, I really want to see what their stories are afterwards. And that's meant to like also feed into the people who watch it to feel like, oh, I'm more interested in my own story and how the moments I'm living now are gonna roll into how I'm gonna live later on.
Okay. Taviana?
Um, for me, actually, the a film starts from a personal experience, things I have seen firsthand, or incidents I have been through myself. I think it was a culmination of quite a few of that when I had the idea, and then I worked with the screenwriter to come to bring the whole idea together on the pages. But I think I observe people. I'm a very like I whenever I have time, I go out, I travel, I try to travel in my state in West Bengal, where I live in India. And I'm interested in people in general. I think that really helps. And then, of course, I mean, when I have like a draft, then I send it out to my collaborators. And so far, I've worked with regular collaborators. Of course, the casting of it was pretty new cast. I haven't worked with many of them before, so this was the first time working with almost major cast. I worked for the first time, especially the two women, a lead and the mother. Also, all of them were first time collaborators of mine. So I sit down with them. We do cold readings. I also get a lot of inputs from my technical collaborators, like my DOP or the editor. They also give a lot of great feedback, and I think all of it come together, and like the film develops. I got a lot of interesting inputs from my editor, actually, Amir. And he gave a lot of ideas about a lot of scenes. He gave me a lot of new perspectives. So I think it's a very collaborative effort for me.
That's great. For each of you, have you given any thought about turning this work into a feature, or was this solely meant as a short film?
There's definitely conversations about continuing the story and transforming it into something else.
Yeah.
Um, More so thinking about what it would be like as a TV series,
Mhm.
um, and seeing what episodes would feel like. But feature would also be amazing to explore as well. Yeah, so that's definitely being spoken about in terms of extending it, expanding that world of man code.
Yeah, great.
For me, that's thank you for that question because a lot of like after a lot of screenings, a lot of audience members have asked me that if we can see a feature out of this, we don't want the film to end. And I think, as a matter of fact, though it was initially when I wrote when the script was written, the like it was meant to be a short film.
Hmm.
But I realized later on, after some introspection, and maybe, like with the screenings and everything, uh, interestingly, where I have, it's my take, actually, where the film ends as it is right now, it can be the end of the first act of a feature film. So, like the film can start from there. The second act can start from there if it's a feature film. I'm not going to spoil the film for for many of the audience there, but like where how the film ends can be the beginning of a journey of the central characters.
Yeah.
So definitely, and actually, as a matter of fact, I would love to explore this into a feature in the future for sure, because I think it has seeds, and then I want to see more of the characters for sure. So yeah.
That's great. Final question for both of you. Can you talk about the importance of queer representation in your work?
Definitely, I can also speak to the importance of Black queer representation
Absolutely.
in terms of being able to see. I think I've seen a quote often that we weren't taught how to love each other.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to see queer representation, particularly Black queer representation, because there's so much against that union. There's so much that says that that's not allowed to exist and that it's actually um completely wrong. Whereas like when you have that representation and show it in all its forms and show like tearing apart the monolithic nature that has been put in front of audiences previously, you then put into people's minds that love is possible in so many ways. And I think it sounds really like um intangible sometimes, but love is really powerful.
Yeah.
And love changes laws, love changes minds, love changes lives. So if you can show different types of love existing, whether it's friendship or in terms of romantic relationships, or about how you help another person as a queer person, then I think that has the power to do a lot when it comes to the way a country functions and how people's lives function.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, for me, I think in this film, if major thing was, of course, the queer Muslim character, and queer Muslims are not that much represented in cinema. It's not, like largely seen. So I think for me, and it was not something, like something like, like very consciously done, like tick boxing, like I want a queer Muslim character per se. The story itself lended to this kind of representation, but of course it was very important. And like for me, it was also to break certain stereotypes, which comes usually in Indian cinema, or like this kind of characters can be full of cliches.
Yeah.
So I wanted to break you know uh, the tropes, the cliches of these characters usually are seen in on the screen. So Fatima's character, who like who plays one of the women in love, she's a queer Muslim, and I think that representation really opened up a lot of conversation. And I think it's very important in today's times, with like all the oppression against the minorities happening in different parts of the world, in India also, especially. Muslims are not, like are considered is a minority, and various things, like various oppressive things are happening as we speak. So the question of, religious minorities, or, like exploring this in cinema is very important to me. So I think so that's why Fatima's character was pivotal to be done, like in a very sensitive way, and so that it invites a lot of new dialogue, a lot of new discourse. So yeah.
Oh, great. All right. Man Code and If are two of the exceptional films that are playing as part of the international shorts, which stream today, which I'm sorry, screens today, and then are available 1 week for streaming as well. Adrian Tathagata, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. Thank you so much for submitting to our festival, and we're honored to have you as part of our program this year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Adrian. Pleasure. Thank you so
Nice to meet
much.
you.